This is the Getting Into Alignment podcast. Here we play in the quantum world of possibilities. If you desire it, you get to have it. My name is Alexa Ray Smith. I'm a business coach and spiritual teacher for women in business. I'm here to help you unlock your personal power and tap into your magnetism so that you can manifest the most incredible life for yourself and build the business of your dreams. These episodes will help you plug into the energy of infinite potentiality and teach you the tools you need to play in this world where limitations don't exist. On this podcast, I'll be talking to you about energetics, mindset, embodiment, spirituality, money, and business. Everything that you want is on the other side of you getting into alignment. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Getting Into Alignment podcast. I'm your host, Alexa Ray Smith, and today I want to talk to you about the law of assumption. While this is one of the most popular laws when it comes to manifestation, especially specifically in the past, I would say, year or two, this law has really blown up. And what I love about this law is it originated from Neville Goddard, who said, live in the wish fulfilled. And I've always said that I feel like he is the GOAT of manifestation. I love his books. I love his teachings because when he teaches about manifestation, it isn't just what you're thinking about, where traditional and what I call archaic law of attraction teachings only talk to you about the power of your mind. And while yes, your mind is so powerful, your feedback loop is your mind and your feelings. And a lot of people, quite frankly, have a very low emotional intelligence. So they aren't able to feel the way that they want to feel unless they have something outside of them giving them, quote unquote, permission to feel a certain way. And the thing is, in order for you to become a master creator of your life, you need to think how you want to be thinking and be feeling how you want to be feeling. And I have found over my years of mentoring and teaching, specifically having a manifestation academy, the people that are able to focus on themselves and to master their own frequency, to master their own emotions, to master their mind, they are the ones that very quickly are able to quantum leap in every area of their life because they stop focusing on the outside world to change and they start focusing on what they can control, which is them, and when they can control themselves, which is now. And this is really like the sweet spot in manifestation when you're not just living all day in your head and visualizing how you want your reality to go for you, but you're also throughout the day having the self-talk that's required to truly be speaking in a way where you would be speaking to yourself if you had the manifestation, to be creating stories in your mind now that support the life that you want to be living in, to feeling into this expectant and assuming frequency of it's already here. If it's not here, I'm not worried about it because it's on its way to me and I know it's coming. And when you can live like this, like it's all here for you, right here and now. That's when you stop hyper focusing on your circumstances. And the people that are like, well, I need my circumstances to change because you don't know I have this going on and this going on and this going on. It's like, well, you have this, and this going on because you keep talking about it, because you keep thinking about it, because you keep feeling into it. And the thing is a lot of people are totally not taking advantage of the present moment. They are thinking that, well, when this thing lines up and then this thing works out and then they have the partner and they've got the money and they've got the car and they've got the house, then they're going to feel fulfilled, successful, wealthy, free, satisfied, whatever it is. And it's like, no, you're not. You're actually not going to feel any differently when the manifestation comes rather than how you're feeling right now. And when you can understand that, that is when you stop waiting for anything to change outside of you, because you realize if you are putting all of this pressure on a manifestation to make you feel a certain way, one, If you do get it, you're just going to be disappointed because you'll get this quick dopamine hit, but it's not going to be this lasting and sustainable change. Whereas paradoxically, if you start feeling how you want to feel now, not being dependent on a situation, on a circumstance, on a person, on money, on whatever it is, that is when you don't need the manifestation because you feel how you want to feel, no matter what. And that's really the beauty and the magic of it all. When you stop expecting that something can make you feel differently and you start tuning into yourself and feeling how you want to feel now, no matter what, life gets to be so good for you because you are truly living as you would be living if you had the thing. And the thing isn't going to be making you feel any different. It's just going to be the cherry on top. And where I see a lot of people that are struggling with manifestation are the ones that keep consuming all of this law of attraction content, all of these law of assumption videos, but they aren't implementing it. They aren't embodying it. And it's not about what you know. It's about who you become with the information that you've learned. And a lot of people are scrolling through TikTok all day long or YouTube or Instagram or wherever it is on social media, looking for this like one thing that's just going to be the code that they need for business to become successful, to hit the whatever K month, or the key that they are looking for in manifestation. It's like they're expecting there to be some secret that somebody is trying to like gatekeep from them. And the beauty of the internet is like, we're not keeping anything from you. If anything, you're on information overload though. And the thing is when you are learning a lot of information, but you're not integrating it, that's when you feel frustrated in manifestation because you know better, but you're not choosing differently. Because you know that it is what you're thinking about, and it is the words that are coming out of your mouth, and it is the environment that you surround yourself in, and it is the feelings that you're feeling. And it isn't just one thing, it's all of the things. But instead of changing the language that you use about your life, instead of understanding that if your thoughts create your reality, you have to choose better thoughts now. You know that you can't keep going around complaining and hanging out with the same people that have all of those toxic behaviors and habits and low self-worth and no ambition and really succeed. Because yeah, you might be the biggest fish in the pond, but if you are in a pond that is all gross and covered in muck, like, is that really a win? No, it's not. And so at the end of the day, it's so much more about you actually applying this work so that way you are living in the law of assumption now. And what I always tell people is the people that I find struggling with the law of assumption, because the way that I view the law of assumption is it is an advanced energetic principle. Yes, it's a universal law, but I argue that if you do not know how to apply the basics of manifestation, if you don't know how to apply law of attraction, if you don't know how to do the mindset work, if you haven't focused on your emotional intelligence, if you haven't done the healing work, so that way you're not hyper focused on everything that's happened to you in the past and playing a victim and coming up with excuses, it's going to be a little difficult for you to actually embody the law of assumption. And I can say that confidently because of the amount of people that I've coached, the amount of students that I've taught. A lot of people that try to skip over the foundational work in manifestation, because let's be honest, it's not that fun to have to look at yourself and to look at where you play a victim and look at all of your shitty thoughts and, heal and forgive everybody from your past. Like it does take a lot of work. I don't know how we got to this conversation that manifestation doesn't take work. I get that everybody just wants like instant gratification, and that's what we've come to having such a highly digital era, but there is no instant gratification in personal development. If anything, I would argue that it is a constant journey of gratification when you understand and commit to just being a work in progress, and you realize that it isn't all meant to come at one time. It's all a buildup. And when you just fall in love with the journey and you give yourself grace and you allow yourself to be human and healing and bettering yourself and showing up differently, then you're not looking for these quick fixes, because you understand that it's all an unlearning so that you can become. It's an unlearning so that way you're becoming the person that you were born to be, without the limitations, without the wounds, without the victimhood. And I want to say this for the people out there that have been really going deep into the law of assumption, but it feels like it's short lived, or they're having trouble actually embodying it and actually living here. Because it isn't that there's anything wrong with you, it's just that there are steps. There are things that are going to get you into being able to really be able to hold these feelings and to live here. So if you're somebody that's like, I've been trying to understand the law of assumption, I've been trying to really tap into this new feeling and this new frequency state, and it feels like it's been difficult for you, then I want to recommend that you go back to the basics. And this is why in Alchemy of Manifestation Academy, AOMU, whatever you want to call it, because like my animals, and perfect timing as Gaia goes crazy, like my animals, I just give all of my work different names. But in the academy, I start you off in soul manifestation, which is very foundational. And foundational isn't simple, right? Like it's still complex, because I'm talking about mindset. I'm teaching you how everything you've ever known is not true, and you really need to start challenging it. But in there, I give you a lot of tools to be able to start shifting your mindset. We go over a lot of healing principles. We go over forgiveness. We do a lot of self-healing practices, so that way you can start loving yourself and truly doing all of the foundational work, so that way when you get into Alchemy of Manifestation, which is the deep energetic principles and the universal laws, when you get into that program, you've been able to really master yourself already. So that way, when we talk about energetic principles, when we talk about frequency, when we talk about feelings, you're able to really start playing there. And then we go deep into quantum, and we get into human design, and we get into all of the different nuanced layers. But the thing that I'll always teach you is that I want to set you up for success in everything in life. And I feel like, one, you've got to stop looking for this one thing to be the answer, and you need to let it all be the answer. And then two, you need to understand that there's definitely things that are going to get you there, and there's definitely tools that are going to help you along the way. But what isn't going to help you is by trying to start with the quantum physics, trying to start with the advanced energetic principles. So I just want to put that caveat out there. If you're somebody that's like, oh, I just can't master this law of assumption. First of all, remove the I can't statement. You can do anything that you want to do. But it's like, when we talk about the law of assumption, when we talk about living in the wish fulfilled, this means that you have already done the work on yourself. You've started to do the inner work. I'm not saying you're perfect. You're human. And just forgive Gaia right now, because we are in the process of moving. So I'm recording in the living room and not in my office, because there's no furniture left in my office. And she does not want to lay down right now. So she's just going to be moving in the background and making some noises, and that's fine. So what I want to say, and what I was saying before she distracted me, is that the law of assumption isn't just a thing that you can jump into. If you haven't been doing the manifestation work, like if you haven't been doing the mindset work, if you haven't been doing the frequency work, if you haven't been doing the personal development work and the healing work, then I need you to know that like this isn't the place for you to start. This is going to be setting yourself up for failure. And I see a lot of people doing this, is that they want manifestation to just be some switch that they turn on and they get what they want quickly. But it's like, Anybody who's mastered manifestation, it wasn't that it happened quickly. It was that they were dedicated to who they were becoming. So they were willing to get uncomfortable and do the inner work, knowing that that uncomfortability now is going to get them out of their comfort zone, so that way they can become the person that manifests all of their desires. And it isn't something that I want you to put on a timeline. It isn't something that I want you to put pressure on, or neediness or desperation. I want you to understand that living in the wish fulfilled gets to be a place where you get to live. It gets to be sustainable for you. But you have to understand that in order for that to happen, you have to be dedicated to the process. You have to be dedicated to yourself. You have to be dedicated to doing this work, not to get, but to become. And so when we talk about the law of assumption and we talk about living in the wish fulfilled, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt, if you knew that the manifestation that you wanted, all of them, were on their way to you right now, there's nothing that you could do to fuck it up. They are already on their way to you right now. How would you be feeling? And here's the thing, because I'm not coaching you and this isn't a mentorship session, you've got to use discernment here. I can tee you up and I can ask you the questions, but you have to be honest with yourself, because we're not working one-on-one together. I can't keep you accountable for this. So I'm saying this because if that was a very overwhelming thought for you, if you were like, oh my God, if your nervous system got really dysregulated and you were like, I don't know, that's just too much for me, then that's beautiful, because you understand where you're at, and you are probably one of those people that just hasn't been doing the work. And here's the thing is, you're not going to learn the work that you need to do, the personal development work. You're not going to learn it from TikTok videos. You honestly won't even learn it from podcasts. Like, maybe books if you're applying them, but it's like, this is why digital programs exist. This is why mentorship exists, because this is how you're actually going to go through this. You can be somebody who uses all of the free resources because you don't want to leverage money, but understand that you're leveraging your most valuable resource, which is time, if you're not leveraging money. And so if you're somebody that is feeling overwhelmed, or it dysregulates your nervous system to think that all of your manifestations are on their way to you, then that's beautiful, because now you know that you should probably be working on the foundational things, so that way you can start mastering self-concept, so that way you can start mastering your emotional intelligence, so that way you can master your mindset. But for those of you who have been doing this work, for those of you who have been in my academy, or are in my academy, or have been in mentorship with me, or if you've been learning this for a while now and you've gotten pretty good, but you're just, still a work in progress, if you can just think about how you would feel right now if you knew it was on its way to you. If you knew that they were all on their way to you. There's nothing that you had to do. There's nothing that you had to change. If they were just on their way to you right now, how would you feel? And what frequency would you be tapping into? Where would you be allowing yourself to show up differently? How would you feel differently than how you're feeling right now? Because the thing is there's a gap. There's a gap in the person that you are right now who doesn't fully trust that, who doesn't fully believe in it, who has doubts, who has worries, who has fears, who is still kind of expecting the worst case scenario, who doesn't believe that life can be that good, who is like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not fully there. Then again, that's beautiful, but you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware of where you're at. And the thing is if you are actually living in the law of assumption, if you are actually living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you wouldn't be entertaining doubt. You wouldn't be entertaining fear. You wouldn't be worrying. You wouldn't be questioning. You wouldn't be uncertain. You would be confident. You would be certain. You would be trusting. You would be empowered. You would have this knowingness about you. And that would feel exciting. And not just exciting though, it would feel calm, because it would be normalized for you. And a lot of people can live in the excitement for a little bit, but that's short lived, right? Because you're not meant to be in this excited state all the time. Excitement is fun, but really feeling calm is key, feeling certain, knowing. So it's like, what if you could just start knowing that your manifestation was coming to you, knowing that it wasn't dependent on one thing that you did, that everything that you were doing is lining up perfectly so that way your manifestation is coming in? How differently would you be speaking to yourself? How differently would you be speaking about your life? How differently would you be thinking? How differently would you be feeling? When you can start closing the gap on who you are right now and shifting more into the person that you would be if the manifestation was here, if it was on its way, if you didn't have to worry. Because the thing is you're not doing this alone. The universe is supporting you. If you want it, you get to have it. And you don't have to doubt. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fear. I get that it can feel scary because you're waiting for like some shoe to drop because you've been taught that it can't be that good, that if it comes that easily, you've got to be looking out for it. Like there's got to be some motive, but the universe doesn't have a motive. Like the universe isn't against you. The universe isn't conscious, it's consciousness. So it's like, you're the only one assigning these meanings. You're the only one that is allowing your old programming from your parents to tell you that things have to be a struggle, that they have to be hard, that they can't come easily. And all of our parents were just doing the best that they could with the information that they had available to them. They were following what their parents were told. But it's like, we are the generation that came here to break us out. All of the bullshit, of all of the limitation, of all of the lack, of all of the scarcity, of all of the fear. And it's like, as above, so below. If we want to affect a macro change on the collective consciousness, then we need to keep changing on the micro level, which is our individual consciousness. And so when you understand that life does really get to be good for you, things do get to work out for you. You get to be in love with your soulmate partner. You get to be doing a career that lights you up, whether it's working for somebody else or creating your own empire. There are no limits. You get to be a mother and travel the world and be a CEO boss. You get to, like, whatever it is. In my world, I always tell my clients and my students, I don't live in a this or that reality. I live in a this and that reality, which means if you want something, you get to have it. And if you want something else, you get to have it. It doesn't have to mean that you need to sacrifice one of those things. The only thing you have to sacrifice is your old way of being. And so what if you just started living in best case scenario? Drop the worst case scenario. Start genuinely expecting that life gets to be good for you and not looking for evidence. What if the evidence was how you felt? What if you could start just mastering your internal world, and whether you were driving and you were stuck in traffic or whether you were standing in line somewhere, what if you could still just be in this state of joy, in this state of fulfillment, in this state of happiness, in this state of bliss? Because you're the only one that takes yourself out of this state. Sure, we blame the person who cuts us off, or the fact that the person in line is asking 1,000,001 questions and they're not paying attention to the line behind them, or whatever the bullshit that runs through our mind is that's trying to blame someone else. If you just stopped focusing on what's going on outside of you and you spent all of that time focusing on what was going on inside of you, that's when you would start being able to realize, wait a minute, if I want to feel good, I have to start focusing on feeling good. I have to start doing the work on me, because it's when my mind starts going into the gutter that I don't feel good. It's when I start ruminating on these thoughts all over again about the worst case scenario that I feel disempowered. If you start looking at your reality and understanding that you are the creator of it, then you're not getting focused or caught off guard by what's happening outside of you. You're aware of it because that's what consciousness requires, awareness, But just because you're aware doesn't mean that it has to make you feel a way that you don't want to feel. I always say that your circumstances truly don't matter, because what matters is how and if you react or respond in the moment, because you are the leading energy. But if something happens outside of you and you react and respond in a way that's out of character, then is it really out of character, or is it a response that's been programmed into you that you keep allowing and entertaining because every time something outside of you gives you the opportunity to break that pattern, you play out that role again? And this is how real life shadow work is done. It's about you asking the questions in the moment, knowing that only you are in control of you. And so what if you just didn't assign the negative meaning? What if something happened and it looked like that thing meant that your manifestation wasn't coming in, but you just didn't look at it that way? What if it wasn't even a thing for you? What if you just wrote it off like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to laugh about this because I know that this isn't what I want in my reality. And so if that's not giving me what I want, then that's not anything. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to let it frustrate me or get me angry or disappoint me or get bitter about it. Like, I feel like our not self themes come out in human design often. And that's why I teach you guys human design in the Manifestation Academy, because I do think it is important to understand your energetic coding, just because then you really do have those signposts that tell you whether you're on track or off track. And that's what I teach you in the signature program within the Academy. So if you're like, where is that? Check out Signature. And I want to say that's like a 2.5 hour masterclass. And that goes really, really deep in that. Oh, and with all of that being said, I forgot to say earlier, but I did give my email list an exclusive sale that I've decided to offer the podcast listeners as well. If you're not on my email list, get on there, because they're always the first to know about anything. And a lot of the times they are the only ones to hear about the sales on any of my programs. So if you are not on there, you can go to the link in my bio and there is a place for you to sign up. But if you are really wanting to capitalize on the Lionsgate portal that is really in its potency tomorrow, the 8th until the 12th, then I would recommend getting in the Academy now, because the Lionsgate portal workshop that I have for you, which is a really beautiful workshop, and it teaches you how to harness the power of Leo energy and how to really work with this portal. It is the most potent time to be manifesting. And the only way you have access to that is if you are in Alchemy of Manifestation. And I followed the divine download the other day that said that I should let people in for $88 a month, which is fucking insane. You save hundreds of dollars by taking advantage of this. If you use the code Lionsgate, all capital, one word, and you type that in, that will allow you to save, I think, like $333 you'll save total. But this is going to get you in for everything. This will allow you to take the money program. You'll have lifetime access to the money game. You will have the quantum program. You will have all of the human design programs. You will have the healing programs and soul manifestation. You'll have the universal principles and the energetic programs. Like, I literally give you everything that you need to know. And every day I've been waking up to students telling me how supported they feel in this academy, because I really, truly get it. Like, I don't teach you guys anything that I didn't do or put into my own life. It's literally everything I learned. You learn about love, you learn about money, you learn about energetics, universal principles, human design, healing, personal development, all of the things. Like, everything that you need to know to be able to manifest is in there. And the thing is I've found that there's a lot of teachers that just like regurgitate information that they've heard and that you've heard. And if you were able to apply that and work with it, then you would already be manifesting your dream life. There's some teachers that I've gotten to their programs and I'm like, so I get more information out of your podcast because your programs are just so short and they don't have a lot of depth in them. And I'm like, this was kind of a waste of money. But I don't see it like that because I always see that everything serves a purpose. And anytime I've gotten into a program like that, it's just a reminder to me of like how fucking bomb I am at teaching and how I really give you guys so many tools and so many resources to transform your life. So if you have been wanting to learn manifestation, if you feel like you've read the books and it's not landing or whatever it is, then get into AOMU because I'm telling you, this is every resource that you've ever needed and you get lifetime access. So, especially even to the money game, because this has turned out to be one of the best programs ever. You can still join the money game as a standalone program if you want. It's only going to be open for the next 23 days though, and then I do not think I'm going to be selling it as an individual program anymore. I think it's only going to live in the academy. And I will drop all of the information down below with the code and with everything. So if you want to get in, you can just go to the description box and you'll have all of the information. But the thing that I want to remind you is that there is a disconnect from the person that you're being right now and then the version of you who knows that they get everything that they desire quickly and easily. And when you can start becoming that person, start becoming that version of yourself, because it's not like it's a different person, right? It's just you operating differently. It's you thinking differently. It's you being more confident, being more certain, feeling successful, feeling loved, feeling free. It's you being able to tap into the feelings that you would feel, the thoughts that you would think, the words that you would say, the identity that you would have if you had your manifestation right now. Because this version of you is available to you at any moment, but you have to be honest with yourself. Why are you not living as that version of yourself right now? Is it that you don't trust yourself? Is it that you don't trust the universe? Is it that you genuinely just don't believe that life can be good for you? Is it because you have a low self-concept? Is it because you don't believe you're actually worthy of your desires? Is it because you're holding on to a lot of hate or a lot of bitterness or resentment because of things in your past? When you can get clear on why you keep feeling into the low frequency emotions that you know are preventing you from living as the version of yourself who gets it all easily, when you can start shifting how you show up in the moment, when you can start shifting your thoughts, when you can start telling yourself a better story, when you can start feeling as if you would feel right now, no matter what, not needing something outside of you to give you validation or permission. But if you could just genuinely expect that you get to manifest whatever you want, and you know that you are ready for it, you know that you are magnetic, you know that the universe is always supporting you in whatever you want, you get to have it, and there is nothing standing in your way. That version of you is so empowered, they're so confident, they're so secure. They know that they're worthy. They know that they deserve everything that they ask for. They allow it to be easy. They're not giving into the struggle. They're not accepting that that's the way that life has to be, regardless of whether the matrix is still programming you to act like that. So I really want you to use this episode as a reminder, or as a gauge, I'll say. I want you to be able to gauge where you are at, because this is the work that I do with my clients. And if you're like, I would love to just have some support in this and some accountability, then get into mentorship with me. I now have 3 payment options, I want to say, and 2 of which are prepayment options. So if you start prepaying for mentorship, then you can get access to Alchemy of Manifestation Academy. You can get access to all of the 15 programs in there while you are making your payments to work with me. And then you will be able to work with me where you'll get a weekly call with me, where you'll get 5 days of Voxer access. So that's audio and text support with me. So it's like having me in your back pocket so that we can do this real life shadow work back and forth. And so that you can understand how to close that gap and how to do it in a way that is actually going to work for you, because I've learned all of the healing modalities. I've gotten to the point now with mentorship that if you come on my TikTok lives, you guys know, like, I can sit there for 2 hours and I can answer any question under the sun because I spent so much time doing this work. I'm not regurgitating anything. I've genuinely become a mentor that I am proud to be, because I have always had this attitude, even when I was a supervisor or a manager at all of my old jobs, because I traditionally was. I would always say, if I am going to ask my people to do something, I I will be able to do it too. I'm not about to be that manager that has to pass things off to people because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to know the resource. I'm not going to know where to find it. Because if anything, I really don't think that those people should be managing. If you don't know the resource, if you don't know the tools, if you haven't been through it, then I don't think you have the depth and the understanding and the ability to lead anyone. And that's one thing that I can proudly say is I do this work every day on myself, not just for me, but so that I can be the one that when someone gets into mentorship with me, I'm like, I've got you and I can help you through this. And I don't say it like, well, hopefully I can help you through it. It's like, no, I know for a fact that I can help you because of everything that I've been through. And that's why when people are like, but what do you think about people that have had all this trauma happen to them? I genuinely believe that if I did not have all of this trauma happen to me earlier in my life, I wouldn't have been so hungry to be a mentor, because I eat, breathe, and sleep with this stuff. Like, self-development is something that whether I was a mentor or not, I would be doing. Manifestation is something that whether I taught it or not, I would be doing. And this is what I did for years. While most people will read one book and then create a digital program and act like they are a master at it, I'm like, no, I'm always going to be mastering myself and learning and learning and learning. And that's why I can confidently help anyone with anything, because I've been through it or I've witnessed it. And in human design, I'm a 4/6. So I'm good with people, I'm great with people, and I understand the trial and error aspect of the first 30 years of my life. I watch other people for the next 30, and then I really integrate the wisdom, but I've always been doing that. So it's like, if you want a mentor that gets it, that isn't just, I say I have holistic mentorship because it isn't just mindset, it isn't just energetics, it isn't just self-concept, it isn't just manifestation, it isn't just business, it isn't just shadow work. It isn't just health. Like, I do all of the things because all of the things are what got me here. So if you really want to get into mentorship with me, like, it is my favorite thing in the world to do, is to help you guys, to teach you, like, the amount that can shift and how quickly it can shift for you is still mind-blowing to me, because you have the proximity with somebody to keep you accountable, to believe in you, to support you, to see your highest self, and to know how powerful you are, even when you feel like you've dropped your power, or you feel a little lost in the dark, or you just get to that point where you're like, I don't even know. And this is like literally my favorite thing in the world to do. I love, 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 love waking up to work with my clients and to talk with my students and to be here for you guys. So if you want to get into my world, I would really recommend taking advantage of the coupon code Lionsgate and being able to get into the academy now for only $88 a month. It's truly fucking insane. Like, and then you'll get lifetime access. And if you want to get into mentorship with me, you can take advantage of the prepayment options and get into the academy now. And then you can start having mentorship with me. And once you get into my world, your life is going to shift very quickly. I know this because it happens every single time. All right, I love you guys so much. Until the next episode, I'll talk with you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're ready to go deeper and to get into my world, you can go to my website, alexaraysmith.com. You'll find all of my current programs on there. If you're desiring to get mentored by me, then the best thing to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can talk about mentorship options and which one's the best fit for you. If you're absolutely loving this podcast, please go rate it 5 stars and let me know why you're loving it. This will help me share the podcast with more people. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and until the next episode, keep manifesting the most incredible life.